LilaCafe. I would like to say I'm sorry for being gone so long. I had a lot going on in my personal life, and I just needed some time to get some things together. Also, this video took a little bit longer, just because I needed a little bit more time to finish this painting. Sometimes with my art style, it takes me a little bit longer because I do like to do pieces that are a little bit more detailed. Yeah, I'll try not to have my videos so spaced out in the future. We're so back. The tea of the week is going to be chai tea. With that, let's get into this video. So I've been teasing this character for a pretty long time on Reels, drawing different parts of the character. I've been doing drawings of some of the character's things so that you can kind of get like a vibe for this character. There's a lot of detail that goes into this character, and I tried to write about it a little bit so that I could organize my thoughts some. Hopefully, I can explain things in a way that is easy to follow. And if you have any questions about this character or would like a follow-up video on the character to explain more about him, I would love to do that. This character has two different versions. So he has like a monster version, and then he has like his regular, more human looking version. I'll kind of start from the beginning, give a little bit of like the backstory, and then I'll explain in more detail why he is looking the way that he does. As the young people say, I'll explain why he's looking so chopped. So this character, for those of you who have been wondering, I had a lot of people giving me some really good guesses in one of my Reels videos about what his name might be. So I was really cracking up at some of these guesses. That is so creative. Adam, someone said Scott, or maybe Daniel, Aaron, Mike, or James. Really great guesses. Yeah, this character has been around since 2017, and he was born through a story that me and my sister started writing together. Like I was saying, the story is a little bit complex, so I'm gonna do my best to summarize his part in the story. And just to give you the basics about him. He is the son of a fallen angel whose name is Abaddon. A lot of people pronounce that name as Abaddon, which I don't know why, it just gives me the ick so bad whenever I hear people say Abaddon. It's Abaddon. That's besides the point. Abaddon is the keeper of the abyss in Jewish and Christian folklore. That's who he is, I guess, the quote-unquote son of. I say son because he was really created by his father's alchemy. Abaddon wanted freedom from the abyss, which he was chained to, so he created Addison from a mixture of different alchemical ingredients, including hound's tongue, spirulina fine powder, ginseng root, and hare's ear. The reason that he looks this way is because he is super cursed, and throughout the entirety of the story, he is constantly fighting this illness. Normally he looks much more human, although he's not really even a human. He's more like a golem, which is also inspired by Jewish folklore. A golem is a being created in clay that comes to life through either sacred words or rituals, and its purpose was to serve its creator. At the onset of Addison's curse, he usually begins to bleed through his mouth or nose, and that's how this character knows that, okay, I'm starting to get sick. So then, after he starts bleeding, he will contract a high fever. That kind of makes him delirious, and then he begins to transform into this version of himself that you're seeing on your screen. So it's during this stage of the active curse that he becomes violent and will lash out at any and all around him. And the curse is like a cycle. He goes from being fine to sick, and then he transforms for a short period. And then after the fever cools, he returns to a more human appearance. The reason that he transforms like this is because his father's alchemy was not perfect. He basically rushed the process of Addison's creation and was careless, did not ensure that his successor would remain in good health. Whenever he was creating Addison, it was very haphazard and rushed. His biology is basically very rudimentary. this is the effect of that. That's the outcome. As a child, he was alone most of the time and spent his time terrorizing the maids that lived in this giant manor. They told him he was never happy and could never be pleased, which he couldn't because he was a brat as a child. He never had a mother figure or any friends, so his childhood was very bleak and very lonely. He was created for the sole purpose of taking his father's position, so that created a tyrannical child, and with no one telling him no, that behavior never really changed. Currently, Addison resides in the Abyss, and it's called Navas. He lives inside of an enormous castle that his father had lived in for centuries before him. It was well taken care of with a grand room, formal dining room, and acres of land. It was run by himself and a few other spirits, including a full staff of maids. And I guess I'll just go ahead and tell what the maids are. They are spirits that had passed away, and they're now in this abyss, which is sort of like a purgatory for them, because they do eventually move on. The maids are constantly providing him with care, but he treats them about the same as his father treated him, with negligence and disrespect. All in all, Addison is a villain. I don't know if you could tell just from looking at him, but yeah, he is not a very nice person. He does not have too many redeeming qualities either, other than one thing. He does have an affectionate side, but don't let this fool you. He does not deserve your admiration or affection, so I'm just letting you know right now. There's one person that he holds above everyone, and that person is his daughter, Evie. She was created in a very similar fashion, and Addison used alchemy to create her as well. Addison studies alchemy just like Abaddon did, and as a part of his study, he decided to recreate his father's experiment to see if he could fix the mistakes his father made with him. And that's how his daughter Evie was born. Unfortunately, he does repeat his father's mistake of not being around her much, but when he does spend time with her, they're very close. Evie refers to Addison as her father, and she's treated very well. Addison's main issue is that he has daddy issues. He despises his father and wants nothing more than to end his father's life for what he's done. But what he secretly really wants is for his own life to end so that he would finally be free from the curse. In the story, he's not the main character, but he is the main villain. And how could there be a villain if not for a good-natured and strong-willed main character? The main character in the story is a young woman named Water Lily. She's 20 years old and very recently dead. She winds up here after her early death, and it becomes her mission to save the castle and all within from demise. She learns that if Addison dies, then whatever is being trapped inside by his power will be released onto them and into the world of the afterlife. This is why it's so imperative that he not die. I'm gonna do a separate video on Water Lily later on, but I thought that I would share just that much for now. She's really awesome, and I hope you'll watch the video about her too. In my opinion, she's highly sympathetic and easy to love, but I'll let you make up your own opinion about her. Part of what I like so much about Addison is how he knows his anger is wrong, but he feels like there's nothing he can do about it. Like he's so far down a road already that he can't turn back. And the only thing I can think to help me explain what I mean is that it's like eating something you know you shouldn't be eating, like a huge piece of cake, and then not being able to stop after a few bites. Like, you know you've already messed up by eating a few bites, so why not eat the whole thing? That's how he is with his anger issues. It's like he's already begun to get upset, so why not burn the whole house down? That's kind of his mentality, but he's constantly ashamed of himself and wishing that he could be like other people who have been kind to him in the past. Or more like a person who could rationalize and think normally, but he can't because that's also a part of him that's damaged. He can't regulate his anger like normal people because of his faulty alchemical makeup. He's a very hopeless person with a bleak outlook, but not to worry, there are characters that are foils to this trait. So he has to challenge that school of thought. This is not always what he looks like. It's only what he looks like about 10% of the time. The other 90% he is human-ish, appearance-wise. His hair is a very light blonde color, almost white, and it gets longer throughout the story due to his disinterest in personal upkeep as he becomes sicker. Eyes are a very dark brown, almost black, and he has prominent discoloration under his eyes that make them look kind of bruised. His cheeks are hollow and skin is pale, exposing bluish veins. He is part of a full story that I've already written, a novel. It is complete, and one day I would like to have the book published, but I'm trying to get some beta readers interested in looking it over, helping me edit some things. It's already pretty finalized, but I'm always excited to hear feedback on things that I've done. If you are interested in this story and the characters and you want to know more about this universe, please comment down below. Absolutely love this story, and it is my dream to get it published one day. I know that there are folks out there who would love this story just as much as I do. Leave me a comment, and I'd be happy to answer any and all of your questions about my characters, and stay tuned for the next video. I should be doing either another drawing video or most likely a gaming video. See you next time.